My parents let my sister wear my wedding dress, then tried to make her a co-bride at my own ceremony. I step into my bedroom and freeze. My heart stutters to a complete stop, then lurches into overdrive like a freight train careening off its tracks. Brittany stands before my full-length mirror, her willowy frame draped in champagne silk that catches the golden afternoon light streaming through my Manhattan apartment window. My wedding reception dress. The one I spent 4 months hunting for in boutiques from Soho to the Upper East Side, the one that made David's face light up when I showed him the designer sketch from Vera Wong's studio. My great-grandmother's pearl necklace adorns her throat, each lustrous bead catching prismatic light with every subtle movement of her head. The heirloom meant for me, the one Nana Catherine promised would be mine on my wedding day when she pressed it into my palm during her final hospital stay. Brittany tilts her head, admiring her reflection like she's posing for Vogue, completely oblivious to my presence in the doorway. The champagne silk cascades over her shoulders like liquid gold, and I feel sick knowing it was tailored specifically for my measurements, my body, my day. "What are you doing with my wedding dress?" My voice barely rises above a whisper, but it carries enough force to make Brittany whip around. Instead of guilt or embarrassment, her expression brightens like Christmas morning. "Jessica. Perfect timing." She runs her manicured hands down the designer fabric. "It looks better on me anyway." Mom totally agrees. The words hit me like a physical blow to the solar plexus. Behind me, our hardwood floors creak ominously. I turn to find my parents hovering in my bedroom doorway, their expressions a volatile mixture of discomfort and steely determination. They knew. Of course they knew about this little fashion show. "Sweetie." Mom steps forward, her voice taking on that sugar-sweet, placating tone I've learned to dread over 28 years. "You'll have the main wedding gown, obviously. Can't you share just this once, honey?" Dad nods, waving his hand dismissively like he's shooing away an annoying fly. "Your sister has always been stunning in champagne colors, Jess. You know that." Their casual words unlock a flood of memories that I've spent years trying to suppress. Brittany borrowing my Jimmy Choo heels for a charity gala, returning them with scuffs across the leather that no cobbler could repair. My vintage Chanel purse, a graduation gift from Nana Catherine, coming back with foundation stains embedded permanently in the quilted leather. The cashmere Burberry coat I'd saved 6 paychecks to buy, stretched beyond recognition after her weekend in the Hamptons. Family comes first, I told myself each time, swallowing my objections like bitter medicine, burying my resentment deeper and deeper until it became a permanent knot in my chest. Last Christmas flashes before my eyes in vivid, painful detail. The outfit I'd carefully curated for Senator Morrison's wife, a client who could have launched my personal styling career into the stratosphere. Brittany borrowing the ensemble for just one tiny photo shoot she'd promised, only to return it with a red wine stain spreading across the custom blazer like a bloodstain. "This is strike one," my boss Amanda had warned, her eyes ice-cold with professional disappointment when the senator's wife saw the damage. When I confronted my parents about Brittany's carelessness, their response was swift and predictable. "Accidents happen, Jessica. She's your sister." But today, something inside me shifts, like tectonic plates realigning after decades of building pressure. "Not this time." The words come out clear and steady, surprising even me. "Take it off." Silence fills my bedroom, thick enough to choke on. Brittany's glossy lips part in genuine shock, her hazel eyes widening with the unfamiliar sensation of being denied something she wants. "You can't be serious." She laughs, but it sounds hollow and forced even to her own ears. "Mom, tell her she's being completely ridiculous." Mom steps toward me, her hands outstretched in that familiar gesture of manipulation disguised as supplication. "Jessica, sweetie, there's absolutely no need for drama here. Brittany just wants to feel special too. Is that so wrong?" "Take it off," I repeat, my voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Now. Or I'm calling off the entire wedding." The threat hangs in the air between us like a live wire. Dad's face flushes crimson, but something in my expression, something he's never seen before, stops whatever angry rebuke was forming on his lips. "Fine," Brittany spits the word like poison. "I didn't want your stupid dress anyway. It's probably too tight in all the wrong places." Her fingers fumble with the delicate zipper, her movements deliberately rough and vindictive. I step forward and catch her wrist before she can damage the silk. "The necklace too," I say quietly, holding her gaze in the mirror. With exaggerated theatrical care, she removes Nana Catherine's pearls, dropping them into my palm with enough force to make a statement. The pearls feel warm against my skin, as if they remember where they truly belong. Later, after Brittany has stormed from my apartment in a whirlwind of dramatic outrage, I hang the dress carefully in my walk-in closet. My parents' cold glares follow me like spotlights, promising consequences for this unprecedented rebellion. I run my fingers over the smooth silk, my heart still pounding like a war drum. For 28 years I've stepped aside, made room, kept the peace, the good daughter, the responsible one, the one who understands family dynamics. Looking at the dress hanging there like a trophy, I make a silent promise that feels as binding as wedding vows. Not anymore. They've taken enough pieces of me over the years. This wedding will be mine, and God help anyone who tries to steal another fragment of my life. The following afternoon, David drops his MacBook on our glass coffee table and rubs his temples wearily. So that's it? We finally decided on the salted caramel cake with cream cheese frosting. I nod, leaning back into our Italian leather sofa. After weeks of tastings and endless disagreements with my mother about traditional versus modern flavors, we finally locked down the last major wedding decision. David reaches for my hand, his thumb tracing gentle circles on my palm. 4 more weeks, Jessica. Just 4 more weeks until you're Mrs. Jessica Hamilton. The doorbell chimes before I can respond, its melody echoing through our Upper East Side apartment. I check my phone, no scheduled visits, no expected deliveries. David raises an eyebrow but rises to answer it anyway. My parents' voices float from the entryway, my mother's rapid-fire questions about our new furniture slicing through what had been a peaceful Sunday afternoon. They didn't call. They never call anymore. They just appear, like unwelcome spirits summoned by wedding planning stress. We brought the family wedding planner. Mom announces, swooping into our living room like a tornado in Louboutins. She clutches a leather-bound binder that I've never seen before, its gold lettering reading Hamiltonshire Wedding Plans. Dad follows close behind, his calculating eyes darting around our apartment, mentally cataloging what we paid for everything from the Persian rug to the crystal chandelier. We've made some adjustments, Mom continues, spreading the mysterious binder across our coffee table, completely covering our own carefully organized notes. Just small tweaks to make everything absolutely perfect. David catches my eye as he settles beside me, his warm hand finding mine again, squeezing gently. There's concern in his dark eyes, he knows my family's patterns better than anyone. Mom flips to a page labeled Bridal Party, and points to a new notation written in her distinctive handwriting. I've never seen this edition before, co-bride Brittany Chen, matching ivory gown and coordinating pearl jewelry. The room tilts sideways. Co-bride. I manage to croak. David leans forward, his lawyer instincts kicking in. There's no such thing as a co-bride. It's our wedding, not a group project. Mom waves her manicured hand dismissively, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the light. It's a new trend, darling. Very European. I read about it in Martha Stewart weddings. It's not a trend, I say, my voice steadier than I feel inside. And it's absolutely not happening at my wedding. Dad clears his throat, the same sound that used to make me shrink as a child. Jessica, be reasonable here. Your sister has been looking forward to this day almost as much as you have. Looking forward to what, exactly? The words scrape my throat raw. My wedding. To sharing this special day, Mom corrects smoothly, her smile tightening at the corners like plastic wrap. Sisters should support each other, especially during life's biggest moments. After they leave with promises to discuss this further over dinner tomorrow, I sit at David's laptop and open my email with trembling fingers. Something feels terribly wrong, like puzzle pieces that don't quite fit together. I type wedding in the search bar and watch as dozens of email exchanges between my mother and our venue coordinator appear, emails where I was conspicuously not copied on a single message. David, I call, my voice barely audible over the blood rushing in my ears. You need to see this. Right now. He reads over my shoulder, his breath catching audibly. Special instructions to venue coordinator about highlighting both sisters equally during the ceremony. Detailed arrangements for balanced photo opportunities throughout the reception. A formal request for 2 identical bridal suites. My iPhone buzzes with a notification from Instagram. Brittany has tagged me in a new post, and my stomach clenches with dread as I tap to open it. There she stands in my reception dress, now somehow altered to fit her perfectly, with a caption that makes my blood run cold, final fitting for my wedding look. Sister ceremony vibes. Double the brides, double the magic. Sparkles women with bunny ears ring. The comments flood in immediately. Wait, didn't know you were engaged too. And what's a sister ceremony? So cool you're both getting married. And twin bride energy. My phone immediately rings. Aunt Helen from Boston, her voice filled with confusion. Jessica, honey, Aunt Helen's voice crackles through my iPhone speaker. Your mother just called me about this unusual sister ceremony. Is this really something you want to do? The room spins as I try to explain that none of this was my idea, that I'm learning about my own wedding plans through Instagram posts and family gossip. But the words come out jumbled and desperate. More calls follow in rapid succession. Family friends from our country club. Distant relatives I haven't spoken to in years. My college roommate from Northwestern. All confused. All asking the same piercing question, why am I making my sister a co-bride at my own wedding? When I confront my mother by phone, her voice drips with practiced martyrdom that could win an Academy Award. You've always been the strong one, Jessica. The successful one. Brittany needs this boost right now. She's been so depressed since that awful breakup with Trevor last year. Dad's voice cuts in on the extension, sharp and authoritative. We're paying for half this wedding, young lady. We have a legitimate say in how it unfolds. More calls. More pressure. More family members crawling out of the woodwork. Uncle Robert suggesting I be the bigger person here. Cousin Amanda wondering aloud if I'm being a bit selfish, don't you think? Each conversation feels like water rising around my neck, threatening to drown me in family expectations and manipulative guilt. Only Aunt Margaret tells me the brutal truth when she visits my apartment the next day. Her voice drops to a whisper as she glances nervously toward the door. They've been planning this since you announced your engagement 8 months ago, Jessica. Your mother had Brittany's dress ordered the same week you ordered yours from that boutique in Brooklyn. I press my palms against our granite kitchen counter, feeling the cool stone anchor me to reality. How do you possibly know this? I overheard them at Christmas dinner. Your mother told your father it would be easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Those were her exact words. Margaret squeezes my arm with genuine sympathy. I should have warned you sooner, honey. I didn't want to cause family drama. That evening, I drive to Grandma Rose's assisted living facility in Westchester. Unlike my parents' sprawling mansion in Greenwich, her small apartment feels like a sanctuary from the storm. This is your day, Jessica, she says firmly, her arthritic fingers covering mine with surprising strength. No one else's. Not your sister's. Not your mother's. Yours and David's. When I return home, David has financial spreadsheets open on his laptop, his MBA brain working overtime. We can pay for the entire wedding ourselves, he says without looking up. I've run the numbers 3 different ways. We can make it work without their money. My best friend Chloe arrives with a bottle of Pinot Grigio and her legal pad, looking like a war correspondent ready for battle. I'm documenting everything, she announces, flipping to a detailed timeline of every boundary violation. Just in case things get uglier and we need evidence. My phone rings again, my boss this time. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something makes me answer. Jessica, Amanda says, her voice uncharacteristically gentle. One of our clients mentions seeing something about your double wedding on social media. Want to tell me what's really happening here? I explain everything in halting, embarrassed sentences, expecting professional concern about how this family drama might affect our high-profile clientele. Instead, Amanda surprises me completely. Your sister cost us the Senator Morrison account, she says flatly, her words hitting like ice water. Don't let her cost you your wedding too, Jessica. That night, my parents deliver their ultimatum via group text that feels like a digital slap across the face. Include Brittany as co-bride or lose our financial support entirely. The message contains thinly veiled threats about Grandma Rose's expensive care facility and how family reputation affects professional standing in our social circles. I stand at our bedroom window, staring at the glittering Manhattan skyline below, feeling smaller than I've ever felt in my life. David wraps his strong arms around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. This isn't just about a dress anymore, I whisper into the night air. This is about my entire existence. 3 days after discovering the secret emails, my phone screen lights up with another notification that makes my stomach drop. Britney's tearful face fills the screen on Channel 7's morning talk show, Good Morning New York. "All I wanted was to share in my sister's special day," she sobs into the camera, dabbing at perfectly applied mascara with a tissue. "We've always been so close." The host nods sympathetically, her voice dripping with manufactured concern. "And she actually refused to let you wear the reception dress?" "She threatened to cancel the entire wedding," Britney continues, her voice breaking on cue. "After everything our family has sacrificed for her career, her apartment, her lifestyle." I slam my coffee mug down so hard that liquid splashes across our marble counter. The morning show host conveniently doesn't mention how Britney tried on my dress without permission, how she's borrowed and destroyed my belongings for 28 years, or how this wedding is supposed to be about David and me, not her desperate need for attention. Within hours, #ShareWithSister trends on Twitter and Instagram. My cousin Derek texts, "Is it really such a big deal? Family should come first, right?" My phone rings constantly. Aunt Carol, who hasn't called me in 3 years, "Jessica, I'm disappointed. Your mother is absolutely heartbroken over this selfishness." I grip the phone tighter, my knuckles white. Did Mom mention she tried to make Britney a co-bride without asking me? Don't be so dramatic, dear. She just wants both her daughters to shine on such an important day. Tuesday morning, a delivery truck pulls up to our building. The doorman hands me a stack of letters from my parents' church congregation, people I barely know weighing in on my family values. The top envelope contains a handwritten note, "Honor thy father and mother," underlined 3 times in red ink. I drop the entire pile into our recycling bin without reading another word. Wednesday morning at the studio, I arrange outfits for Isabella Rodriguez, a fashion influencer with 3 million followers. My concentration fractures with every phone vibration, 15 texts from Mom, 9 from Dad, 31 from Britney. "Everything okay?" Isabella asks, studying my face as I adjust her collar. "You seem really distracted today." "Everything's fine," I lie, pinning the hem of her designer dress. "I saw that news segment with your sister," Isabella says casually. "Wedding drama, right? My followers are talking about it." My hands freeze. My private life. My professional reputation. The boundaries blurring like watercolors in rain. "It's complicated," I manage, forcing my voice to remain steady while my world crumbles around me. After Isabella leaves, Amanda calls me into her corner office. The morning show segment plays silently on her computer screen, Britney's crocodile tears frozen in a screenshot. "This needs to stay completely out of the studio," she says, gesturing toward the footage with obvious distaste. "Our clients come to us for perfection and discretion, not family soap operas broadcast on morning television." I nod, my throat tight with unshed tears. "It won't be an issue going forward." "See that it isn't. Take a leave of absence if you need to get this sorted out." That evening, I drive to Grandma Rose's cottage in White Plains. The familiar scent of lavender and old books wraps around me like a warm hug as I step inside her living room. The tears come without warning, 28 years of suppressed resentment and hurt pouring out all at once. "They're making me the villain, Grandma. Britney went on national television. The church sent guilt trip letters. Amanda threatened my job." Grandma Rose holds my hand, her skin paper thin but her grip surprisingly strong. "Your mother did the exact same thing to her sister at Louise's wedding 40 years ago." I look up, startled. "What are you talking about?" "Linda wore white to Louise's ceremony, insisted on standing next to the bride in every photograph, demanded matching flowers in her bouquet. When Louise objected, your grandfather sided with your mother instead." She sighs heavily. "They haven't spoken in 30 years because of it." I had no idea about any of this. "Some patterns need to be broken, dear. Someone has to be brave enough to draw the line." She squeezes my fingers with determination. "And you've always been the stronger one." Grandma Rose stands slowly, her knees creaking with arthritis. "I have something that might help you fight back." She leads me to her bedroom, where a cedar chest sits at the foot of her antique bed. The hinges protest as she lifts the heavy lid. Inside, beneath a hand-knitted blanket, lies a stack of legal documents. "What are these?" I ask, taking the folder she hands me. Look at the house deed first. I scan the document, my eyes catching on my own name listed next to hers. I'm a co-owner of your house? Since when? Since your 25th birthday. The next document shows the family trust details. My name appears prominently as executor of Grandma Rose's entire estate. Grandma, I don't understand any of this. I've been watching this happen for decades, Jessica. Your parents have always allowed Brittany to take what rightfully belongs to you. I wanted to make absolutely sure they couldn't take everything from you eventually. The weight of what she's telling me settles on my shoulders like a protective cloak. You've been protecting me all this time. Now you can protect yourself. You have more power than they want you to realize. The next morning, I meet with Patricia, a wedding planner completely unconnected to my mother's social circle. Her office walls display photos of unique celebrations, none featuring matching sister gowns or co-bride nonsense. Tell me what you want, she says, emphasizing each word. Not what your family expects, not what tradition demands. What do you actually want for your wedding day? For the first time since my engagement, someone asks what I want instead of telling me what I should accommodate. Security, I say immediately. Professional security who will enforce our guest list and keep certain family members from disrupting anything. Patricia doesn't even blink. We can absolutely arrange that. That afternoon, David's college roommate Kevin, now an IT security consultant, helps me change every password connected to our wedding. Vendor accounts, venue booking systems, photography portals, everything gets new, complex passwords that my family could never guess. Your family won't be able to make any unauthorized changes, Kevin promises, typing rapidly on his laptop. I've added two-factor authentication to absolutely everything. I call the Plaza venue directly, speaking with the general manager instead of the coordinator my mother had somehow befriended over months of manipulation. I'm the bride, the only bride, I clarify firmly. Any changes to our arrangements must come directly from me or my fiancé David. No exceptions, regardless of family relationships. Understood completely, Miss Chun. We'll update our files immediately and flag your account. The satisfaction of reclaiming my wedding spreads through me like warmth after a brutal winter. I transfer funds from my investment account to cover my parents' promised contribution. The bank confirmation email arrives with a finality that feels like freedom itself. That night, I sleep peacefully in our apartment with my phone turned completely off. No demanding texts. No guilt-laden calls. No social media notifications about family loyalty and sisterly duty. David finds me on our balcony the next morning, watching the sunrise over Central Park with my coffee. You look different, he says, joining me with his own mug. I feel different. For the first time in weeks, my shoulders don't carry that familiar tension. The knot in my stomach has finally loosened. I've spent my entire life trying to keep peace by giving pieces of myself away. Now I'm gathering those pieces back, one boundary at a time. 3 weeks later, our wedding day arrives like a gift wrapped in golden sunlight. I stand in the bridal suite at the Plaza, wearing my grandmother's pearl necklace with the champagne silk reception dress that started this entire war. You look absolutely radiant, Grandma Rose says, adjusting my veil with trembling but proud hands. Through the window, I can see David waiting at the altar, handsome in his custom tuxedo, surrounded by friends who actually support us. The guest list includes only people who respect our boundaries. My parents received a formal disinvitation after attempting to sneak Brittany into the reception as an emergency +1. Ready? Chloe asks, straightening my bouquet of white peonies. I nod, feeling more ready than I've ever been for anything. Let's do this. The ceremony unfolds perfectly. David's vows make me cry happy tears. Our first dance is magical. The reception flows with laughter and joy instead of family drama and boundary violations. 6 months later, I stand in the bay window of our new house in Connecticut, watching autumn leaves spiral across our lawn. 3 states and 200 miles now separate us from my family's toxic dynamics. The distance feels like oxygen. More coffee? David asks, padding across our hardwood floors in weekend socks. Please. I accept the warm mug gratefully. I was just thinking how quiet it is here. No unexpected visits. No manufactured drama. No one borrowing my things without permission. My mother calls occasionally now, always testing boundaries, always searching for cracks in my newfound strength. But I've learned the power of saying no, of protecting what's mine, of choosing my own happiness over their comfort. Some things are worth keeping. Some things are worth sharing. And some things, like your self-respect, should never be given away.